what's up everyone? My name is Soshtvi and welcome back or welcome to another monthly wrap up. Let's wrap up. Let's talk about all things we read in February. So I had a pretty decent reading month in Feb. I read 7 books. Some really good books, some not so, some average. Pretty good mix basically. So let's talk about them all. Starting with the first book I read in Feb is called Save the Date by Morgan Matson. Now before we get into this book, can we just talk about how this is the first print signed edition? It says it right here, signed first print edition. I don't even know how, like, this book released I think in 2018, so I don't know how this copy reached all the way to India, but it's hand signed, it's not digital. Like, oh my god. And Morgan Matson is one of my favorite authors, so the fact that I got this, and when I got it off of Amazon, it didn't specify that this is like a signed first edition. It was just like a regular copy. I bought it, saw the sticker, opened it, and I was like, what? Like, it was the craziest surprise. Morgan Matson, like I said, is one of my favorite authors. I've read 2 of her books and I love them. They feel so homey, so cozy, so comforting. They feel like a warm hug, those books, to me. They are Since You've Been Gone and Take Me Home Tonight, and Since You've Been Gone, in fact, I read it all the time. Like, it's just comfort to me. So I was really looking forward to this one, and this one was a little disappointing in comparison to those two. It was good, it was pretty good, fun, cute little story, but yeah, a little disappointing. But let me just tell you what the book is about. So this book is about our lead Charlie. She's 17 years old. It follows her as a protagonist and her family. So she is in a family of I think 5 siblings, and her sister is getting married, okay? And they're getting married in their home. They're having like a nice little backyard wedding. It's gonna be over the span of these 2 days that we follow them, and their wedding organizer cancels on them last minute. So it's them scrambling to find a new organizer, get things in place, because the wedding is in like a day, and all chaos is ensuing. And at the same time, because the wedding is happening at their house, there's a lot of people living at their house, their entire family, which is huge to begin with, and a lot of their extended family as well. So we're following this weekend of this family scrambling to figure things out. And at the same time, we have another plot line going where the mother of Charlie, she is a very famous artist. She's been producing a comic strip in their local newspaper for the last 20 or 25 years, and she's finally retiring. So we have the events of that unfolding as well, her retirement of the comic strip, and how that comic strip has affected their family, because this comic strip has been based on their family and the events that they have lived through all these years. So Charlie, our lead, she is someone who's very attached to her family and the idea of her family and the connectedness that all these siblings share, and her relationship with all of them and her parents. This weekend is slowly about unraveling what really is underneath, and since all this chaos is ensuing, her siblings have all grown up and moved out, her mom's retiring in the comic, and also the house that they're living in, that she spent her entire life in, is now being sold. Charlie is basically going through a crisis, let's just say that. And this book, basically, it's a trope where everything that can go wrong does go wrong. Like, it's just chaos. 2 days filled of just chaos. Anything you think can go wrong is going wrong in this book, okay? That's the premise. So firstly, I think it's really well written. Morgan Matson is a great writer, so it's always very captivating and very comforting to read about. And also, something that's really cool about this book is that the book is divided into like days. So before the start of every day, we have a little bit of a comic strip depicting or hinting at what could follow in that day, and it's supposed to be like the mom's comic strip. So for example, we have the very first prologue of Christmas break, and before that we have like a little comic strip. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, the dust jacket that we have, so the cover is of course Save the Date, but the back cover of it, the additional cover inside, is of the comic strip again. So this is their family in the comic strip, and this is the name, the Grand Central Station of that comic strip. Pretty cool. That being said, it did not live up to my expectations given how much I love the other 2 books by this author, and that's because the pace of the story, I feel like there were too many things that were going wrong, and we were spending too much time on them, and it just felt like things were just endless. Like, this book takes place over the span of 2 days, but we have so much that's going on that really slowed down the story. And because of that, the resolution that we had to see for Charlie, for a lot of our family members, came up really quickly and had to be wrapped up in a rush because we spent way too much time on other things. So the plot could have been tighter, and also we already have a very big main cast. We have Charlie, we have two other boys who are possible love interests, and we have her entire family, we have her dog. We already have a huge main cast, and then we have additional members forming an ensemble cast, and everyone is getting so much time in the book that it just felt too convoluted. Like, we didn't need so many characters, and because there were too many, some of them didn't even get complete closed off arcs, so it was like, why even put them there then, just to create more chaos? Like, that was a little unnecessary. I also feel like, again, this could just be because I'm getting older, but I can feel the young adultness of this book. You can definitely feel that it's for younger readers in their like mid-teens. Those are a few of the reasons why I did not enjoy the book as much. I feel like it could have been way better if some of the things had just been cut out of the story altogether. But regardless, it is fun. It's very summery vibes. It's about family, it's about friendship, it's about love, it's about understanding, it's about learning to let go of the past and learning to understand yourself better. So it's a great story, a good time. I would definitely recommend if you want to read something light and funny. It is funny, and you want to read it in the summers. I would definitely say you should reach out for this. I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I read a trilogy that I've been anticipating for the longest time. You guys have heard me talking about it on my channel before, and it was the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. So we have Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, and A Curse for True Love. And I freaking loved it. There's a trilogy that comes before this, the Carnival trilogy, and I've talked about it on my channel before. This is the second trilogy set in the same universe. And in short, I feel like I've said this so many times, but in short, the vibes of the books is very magical, mystical, Alice in Wonderland vibes. In this book, we follow Evangeline and Jax. And Jax in this world is a fate, okay? And a fate in this universe is someone who's immortal and has certain powers, magical abilities, and they're almost godlike. So Jax is one of those fates, and Jax is known as the Prince of Hearts, okay? So anything related to love and heartbreak is associated with him, and Evangeline has suffered a heartbreak recently. So she decides to go to Jax and pray to him to help her with the situation that she's going through. And then Jax comes along, and he's more of a villain than a hero, which is something that Evangeline did not see coming, but she strikes a deal with him anyway to help her out, and we follow their story from there on. It's really, really cute. It has high stakes, it's fun, it's so mystical. The universe that she's built is so deep, so rich, so enamoring. I loved the books. The third book, I have certain reservations about. It's still a great book, but certain things I was not too happy about, but I'm not gonna get into it right now because I have videos dedicated to these, okay? I have a video already up on my channel about these two books, and a video is coming up about this one. The video about this I will link down below if you want to see my thoughts in deep, and wait for a video about this one. It will come in a few days. Those are my thoughts about the trilogy. In short, I loved them. I rated this 4.5, 5 and 4.5 out of 5 stars. And side note, I also have a playlist dedicated to that trilogy and Evangeline and Jax, linked down below on Spotify, so if you want to check that out. But yeah, overall, great trilogy, would highly recommend. And yeah, next I read Normal People by Sally Rooney. Now this is a literary fiction and it's adult, and I have been anticipating this for a long time. I know this book has a lot of mixed reviews. Some people absolutely love it and some people just do not get it, and I feel like I lie somewhere in the middle for that. So this book is basically about these two people, Cornell and Marianne, and we follow them as they go through their childhood all the way up to their early 20s, I believe. They're neighbors, and they're basically very different people. They're very different from each other, and they're going through the motions of childhood and being a teenager, growing up, going through university, and understanding that they have very different social circles, very different lives, and they should ideally not be attracted to each other, but they're always drawn towards each other, and we're just following their lives as they're trying to navigate themselves, their identity, and what they mean to each other. So I think it was a really interesting read, although it did get boring at times, and at certain points I was like, this is not hitting, or this isn't as deep as you expect me to think it is, it's not that deep. But it was fun, it was interesting, and I'm definitely excited to see the show that's based on this book. People love the show, so I'm gonna check it out for sure. But yeah, it was an okay read, to be honest. Like, there's nothing bad about it, but there's nothing great about it either. I really don't have much to say about the book. It's fine. So I gave this like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It's right there at the 50% mark for me. Then I read this little book. Is called Before the Coffee Gets Cold. It's by Toshikatsu Kawaguchi. So this is Japanese translated literary fiction, and it was so good, guys. I took this to the beach and read this at the beach and finished it in one sitting. This book is basically about this little cafe. In this cafe, it helps you to travel back in time. There's a lot of rules regarding it, so there are some stakes are surrounding this and a time limit that you have. But yeah, that's basically what it's about. And we have 4 different short stories, and each short story is about a different character trying to travel back in time to meet someone, and it explores the idea of family and friendship and love and sisterhood. And it basically explores the idea of, like, if you were given a chance to say something to the person they never did, what would you say? Would you be able to go back in time and have the conversation that you did not have? It's really sweet. It's fairly predictable, but I don't think the idea of the book is that, oh, it's a twist you will never see coming. It's more about exploring the idea of missing out on your relationships and getting a second chance. It's also really emotional at times, to be honest. I was not expecting to get emotional, not in the way that you cry tears, but just it hits your heart in the right spot. Yeah, it was really, really, really sweet. We do have a main storyline woven throughout the book, but for the most part we're exploring different characters in each story, and I would highly recommend this. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, so really good. Ladies and gentlemen, the last book I read was the first DNF of the month and of the year, and it is Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. Lauren Asher is known for writing lots of billionaire romances that I have not read. I'm not into billionaire romances, and also whatever I've heard, and I've heard quite a bit about these books, I have just not been a fan of whatever she's written earlier, and so I was not interested in checking it out because I knew I wouldn't like them. And I wasn't gonna pay attention to this one either until I found out that the people in this story are interior designers. I was like really intrigued by that because interior designing is something I've always been fascinated about, and I love to read about it. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll give this a chance. The tropes in this seemed inviting to me, and I did, and I read like 150 pages and could not sit through the rest. And when I say I read 150 pages, you guys need to understand, this is all I could get through. This is a 500-page book romance. Why do we have 500 pages in a romance, first of all? What do you have to say that's so much? What? Why? Why? Every romance is the same. Okay, let's just talk about it. We love romances, sure, but they're all the same basically. Okay, girl and boy meet, they don't like each other, then they like each other, then they get together. What do you have to say? But anyway, so I gave it a fair chance. I read like 150 pages and I was just not able to push myself through any more of it. The characters, they're 30 or in their 30s in this book, and they are just, I don't know what it is. A lot of these authors just write 30-year-olds like they're fucking 15, and it's fucking annoying to me. And the romance, they have zero chemistry with each other, like zero. There was this one scene where we had our first like physical contact. They brushed against each other, he got protective about her with another guy, that kind of scene in the book, and I was feeling nothing. Zero. Nothing. The chemistry was just not it for me. It was just it was just bland. It was so bland, and I can tell it's not because of her writing style. Like, her writing is pretty good, it's not very amateur, but her storyline, I don't know. So yeah, did not finish this book, will not finish this book, will not read ahead in the series, will not read her other books, but they could be for you. I'm not saying it's like a shitty book, it's just not for me. So there we have it. Those are all the books I read in February. That's all for my wrap up today. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them if you did. Do like, share, comment, and subscribe. It would help me out a lot, and I love engaging with you guys, so it means a lot to me. Thanks for watching.